Welcome to the State of Tech, the European edition, Monday, June 1, 2026. I'm Samantha Lawrence.
And I'm Bob Russell. Today, Computex 2026 kicks off with AI at the center. STMicroelectronics unveils new chips for AI servers. The head of GCHQ warns AI is being weaponized. Dell's blockbuster numbers send Wall Street to fresh highs. Meta rolls out paid subscriptions across Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp. And Spotify strikes a deal with Universal for fan-made covers and remixes. Let's start in Taipei.
Computex has begun in Taipei, and this year, the whole show is built around one banner: AI Together. The biggest hardware fair in Asia is essentially a giant showcase for what comes after today's AI boom, with Nvidia's Jensen Huang delivering a keynote that the industry has been waiting on for months.
The focus is on Nvidia's next generation of data center hardware, called Rubin, and on so-called AI agents, software that does not just answer questions, but actually carries out tasks on your behalf: booking a flight, filing a report, ordering parts. Huang is expected to talk about what he calls physical AI, meaning AI that controls robots and machines in the real world, not just chatbots on a screen.
And around Nvidia, the whole ecosystem is showing up. Taiwanese chip designer MicroIP is launching a new division aimed at AI in cars, plus edge AI solutions, which basically means AI running on the device itself rather than in a faraway data center. There are new laptops, new cooling systems for servers that are getting too hot to handle, and a lot of talk about energy bills.
That energy point matters. AI servers now use so much power that liquid cooling and new chip materials are no longer luxury, they are necessity. Expect a lot of announcements this week about how to get more performance per watt, because electricity is becoming the real ceiling on AI growth.
For Europe, Computex is a window into where the supply chain is heading. European car makers, industrial groups, and telecoms operators are heavy buyers of the kit launched in Taipei. If Nvidia's Rubin platform delivers what is promised, you will see it in European data centers within 12 to 18 months.
And there is a strategic angle. Brussels has been talking for months about tech sovereignty and reducing reliance on U.S. and Asian suppliers. Computex is a reminder of how deep that reliance still runs. Almost every serious AI workload in Europe today is processed on chips designed in California and manufactured in Taiwan.
The other thing to watch is agents. If Nvidia and the software firms riding along with it can show convincing demos of AI that genuinely completes multi-step tasks, that changes the conversation for European businesses. Banks, insurers, public sector buyers, they have all been cautious. A credible agent story could open the wallet.
One note of caution: trade shows are, by nature, optimistic. Last year's Computex was full of promises about AI PCs that have only partly materialized. So treat the keynotes as direction of travel, not as guarantees.
Story 2 also sits in the hardware corner, but it is European. Franco-Italian chipmaker STMicroelectronics is rolling out a new line of power semiconductors based on gallium nitride, a material that handles electricity more efficiently than traditional silicon.
In plain terms, these chips manage the flow of power inside AI servers and robots. They lose less energy as heat, which means the machines run cooler, draw less electricity, and can be built smaller. ST is targeting AI data centers specifically, where every watt saved across thousands of servers adds up fast.
This matters because AI data centers are becoming serious electricity consumers. Operators are running into grid limits in Ireland, the Netherlands, and parts of Germany. Anything that squeezes more compute out of the same power budget is suddenly very valuable.
For ST itself, it is a strategic bet. Gallium nitride is one of the few areas where European chipmakers have a credible lead over Asian and U.S. rivals. ST has been investing in this for years, and AI server demand is finally giving that bet a clear commercial pull.
The European lens here is fairly direct. Brussels keeps repeating that it wants more homegrown semiconductor capacity. This is exactly the kind of niche, high-value chip where Europe can compete without trying to outproduce Taiwan on the most advanced logic chips.
And there is a robotics angle. The same chips that make AI servers more efficient also make industrial robots lighter and longer running on a charge. Given how much European manufacturing leans on automation, that is not a side effect. That is part of the value.
Quick interruption. If you listen to The State of Tech regularly, hit that like button and subscribe. That way you'll never miss an episode. Okay, moving on.
Anne Keast-Butler, the director of GCHQ, the UK Signals Intelligence Agency, gave a striking speech in Bletchley. Her message? AI is an unstoppable force, and it is already being used as a weapon in ways that fall just short of open warfare.
She described the current situation as a space between peace and war. According to her, hostile states, with Russia named explicitly, are running daily hybrid operations against UK critical infrastructure, energy grids, water systems, transport networks, hospitals.
GCHQ, which usually goes by GCHQ, is building what Keast-Butler called an agentic AI national cyber shield. In simple terms, that means defensive AI systems that can detect and respond to attacks on their own without waiting for a human analyst. She admitted that shield is still years away from being finished.
The warning lands at a sensitive moment. Across Europe, agencies in Germany, France, the Netherlands, and the Nordics have flagged similar patterns. Probing of power utilities, port systems, telecom networks. AI is making those attacks faster and cheaper to launch.
What is notable is the explicit framing. A sitting intelligence chief saying publicly that the country is in a gray zone between peace and war is a significant signal. It is the kind of language that often precedes new legislation or budget allocations.
For European listeners, the practical impact will likely show up in stricter cybersecurity requirements for operators of critical services. The EU's existing NIS2 rules already pushed obligations harder, and several national regulators are reviewing whether AI-specific threats need their own response.
There is also a talent angle. Building an AI cyber shield means hiring AI engineers into government at scale, competing directly with private salaries. That is a known problem across European agencies, not just in Britain.
To the markets, but carefully on timing. On Friday, the Nasdaq 100 closed above 30,000 for the first time, helped by a strong set of earnings from AI hardware suppliers. The standout was Dell.
Dell reported quarterly revenue of $43.8 billion, up 88% from a year earlier. The eye-catching number is the AI-optimized server line, $16.1 billion in a single quarter, up 757% year-on-year. That is not a typo.
To put it in context, Dell's AI server business alone is now bigger than the entire revenue of many large European tech firms. It shows where the money is actually landing in this AI cycle, not so much at the application layer yet, but at the picks and shovels layer of servers, chips, and networking.
That has consequences for Europe. European cloud providers and large enterprises are buying this kit at the same prices as everyone else, which means a lot of AI investment in Europe flows straight to balance sheets in Texas and California.
It also feeds the sovereignty debate we just touched on. When a single U.S. supplier captures this much of the AI infrastructure spend, European policymakers see a dependency, not a partnership. Expect more pressure for EU-funded data center projects with European-controlled hardware where possible.
One thing to keep an eye on, how durable this demand is. Some analysts argue the current AI server boom is being driven by a small group of very large buyers placing multi-year orders all at once. If those orders slow, growth rates come down quickly, even if the absolute level stays high.
For investors in European pension funds and index trackers, the practical point is that exposure to U.S. tech is now even more concentrated. The Nasdaq's record is impressive, but it rests on a narrow group of AI-linked names.
To close out, two things you can actually use today. First, a big change from Meta. Second, a music story that affects what you can post on Spotify.
Meta has officially rolled out paid subscriptions across Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp. For a monthly fee, you get an ad-free experience, and Meta has confirmed more perks are on the way, including access to certain AI features that free users will not get.
Pricing varies by country, but in Europe it sits in a familiar streaming subscription range, single digits to low double digits in euros per month, depending on whether you bundle multiple apps. You can subscribe through the apps themselves in the settings menu on iOS, Android, and the web.
The practical question is whether it is worth it. If Instagram and Facebook are core parts of your day and the ad load has been bothering you, the math is straightforward. If you mostly use WhatsApp, the value is thinner today, because WhatsApp does not show traditional ads in chats. The AI perks are where Meta is clearly steering people.
That is the part to watch. Meta has signaled that some of its more advanced AI assistant features, things like deeper personalization, longer memory in conversations, and certain creative tools, will sit behind the subscription. That mirrors what we have seen at OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic. Free tier for the basics, paid tier for the powerful stuff.
For European users, there is also the regulatory backdrop. Meta's pay-or-consent model has been under scrutiny from EU regulators for over a year. Today's official launch is a sharper version of that choice. Pay for privacy and AI extras, or keep using the free version with ads and data collection.
A concrete tip if you want to try it. Before subscribing, go into your ad preferences on Instagram and Facebook and check what data Meta currently uses for targeting. That gives you a real baseline to judge whether ad-free actually feels different. Takes about 5 minutes.
And if you cancel within the first month, in most EU countries, you keep the benefits until the end of the billing period. Worth knowing before you commit.
Last one, and it is for music fans and amateur creators. Spotify and Universal Music Group have signed new licensing agreements that, for the first time, cover fan-made covers and remixes on the platform.
For years, if you recorded yourself covering a Universal artist or made a remix and uploaded it to Spotify, you were either in a gray zone or simply blocked. Under the new agreement, Spotify is building official tools that let fans create covers and remixes of Universal tracks, with royalties flowing back to the original songwriters and artists.
The tools are not fully live for everyone yet. Spotify is rolling them out gradually, but the deal itself is signed. The expectation is that you will see a clearly marked option inside Spotify's creator tools to start a cover or a remix of an eligible Universal track, with the licensing handled automatically.
For European users, this is useful for 2 reasons. First, it gives bedroom musicians a legal route to publish covers on the biggest streaming platform without hunting down individual rights. Second, it sets a template that other labels will likely follow, which could open up a huge catalog over time.
The AI angle is unavoidable. With generative tools making it trivial to produce covers and remixes, labels have been scrambling to find a model that pays artists rather than ignoring them. This is the first big deal that tries to build that into the platform itself.
Today, the simplest thing a listener can do? Open the Spotify app, check whether the Creator Tools section is visible in your account, and watch for the cover and remix options to appear over the coming weeks. If you have ever wanted to put your own version of a favorite song online legally, this is the route. Today we covered Computex 2026 and Nvidia's Rubin push, STMicroelectronics' new power chips for AI servers, the GCHQ warning on weaponized AI, Dell's record AI server revenue and the Nasdaq high, Meta's paid subscriptions across its apps, and the Spotify and Universal deal for fan covers and remixes.
Want to know more or react? Visit stateoftech.eu or email us at info@doorzetters.net. State of Tech, the tech world in 15 minutes.